Hailing from Rochester, New York, he is the 24/7 party and a charismatic milkshake. He has wrestled for such prestigious associations as Empire State Wrestling, Capital City Championship Combat, New England Frontier Wrestling, Chikara, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, and Elite Canadian Championship Wrestling. He is the former Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion and the man who divides wrestling opinion between those who think he's the greatest wrestler of all time and those who've never heard of him. This is the Party Peacock, fresh from stretching out his hammies. This is Dalton Castle. Hello, Dalton.
Oh, hello, and how right you are. I literally just came home from the gym, and tight hammies, very tight hammies. Got to keep them loose.
You cannot stretch your hamstrings enough.
What an intro! Thank you for all that.
How are you, Dalton? How was things in the United States of America, my friend?
I just choked on my tea, so I mean, at the moment, not great. I'm well. I feel fine.
As an Englishman, I'm glad you're drinking tea, and I've no doubt that the English audience that this YouTube channel attracts will no doubt want to know, how do you take your tea?
Well, I'm just taking it black. Nothing added at it. Yeah, just as it's a kind of a lemony tea. It's a Lady Grey.
Ooh, Lady Grey.
I have had it some proper though. Angelico, who's South African, Orange Cassidy put me on it. He said Angelico makes the best cup of tea. So we sometimes will get him to make us a proper tea. He says.
What's the difference? You can't tell me the secret, obviously. But what's the difference between Angelico's tea and like awful tea?
Well, he adds the cream. He steeps it at the right amount. He covers it. He gets a cover to steep it properly. Dips his finger in it. I think he does a little dance around it. There's something to it, but it's delicious.
As an Englishman, I stopped listening the moment you said cream. So, portrait of a wrestler.
What is a proper cup? Well, how do you drink your tea?
You got to warm the pot. The proper cup of tea, if you're just doing it with a tea bag in first, hot boiling water through the tea bag. It's got to go into the tea bag and slowly make it right up, but all the way through. That water's got to go through. You can't just go pouring it in the mug. It's got to go all the way through. Let it sit there about 2.5 minutes. Give it a stir halfway through. When you stir it at the end, squeeze the tea bag out to get it out, and then a splash of milk, and then you ask them if they'd like sugar.
I did not squeeze the bag. That's where I
squeeze the bag.
I've already tossed it in the bin. So you see what I used the word bin.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Portrait of a wrestler. We talk about 4 images from your wrestling career and from wrestling in general and from outside of wrestling. We want to go on to some of your favourite photographs within wrestling, but we start as we always start, Dalton. With your first. Go on.
Can I first tell you I hated this task? I hated narrowing down my photos. What an impossible thing for me to do.
I know,
but it's an indecisive human, and so many beautiful photographers have taken great photos of me along the way. How do I narrow it down?
I apologize, and I appreciate you going through that arduous task for me, for crossing that bridge. We start as we always start, though, Dalton, with your first ever promo picture. Talk to me about this.
Oh my God. What a hot selling item this was. I love this photo. One, got my parents' dog in the picture. That's Maya, when she was a puppy. She's long gone now. My father is a photographer, or was a photographer. He's no longer with us. But when I first started wrestling, he was being supportive and he wanted to help me out, and he offered to take photos one day. So we set up a sheet on the backdrop in their living room. No, in the kitchen. Even worse, it was in the kitchen. And he snapped some shots of me so I could try to sell some photos when I was starting out my wrestling career. Macho Man Randy Savage trunks, Ultimate Warrior tassels, bandanas around the wrist, Dachshund in hand. I feel like that's a star in the making right there.
How long had you been training at this point?
Maybe a year in, less than that. Yeah.
That's good stuff for a year in, and like you say, just checking off all of the wrestling cliches, including miniature Dachshund, which I think is, the ultimate wrestling cliche to have in any promo. Put a number on how many of these you sold. What was the total? What was the total turnover of 10x8s?
20, maybe.
That's
25. Good. I'm moving a lot. Man,
That's
what I
good
should have done is worn the dog like a shawl around the neck. She's so long.
It's a beautiful thing, and I love the fact that your dad took it as well, which is a really, really swell sort of like little footnote to this story as well, which is really, really cool. So yeah, well, I'm going to compile a list of all of these first promo pictures because they always blow my mind, and I think this is really, really lovely, and I'm glad that you kept it as well.
Yeah, of course. I'm so pumped that I could find it. Actually, I had to dig through some old hard drives for it, and now it's getting saved on the cloud forever. I should probably get these printed up again. I bet I could move some of these.
I think you probably could. I think there's a market for that. We move on now to wrestling photo number 2, which is your favorite photo from your career in pro wrestling, and I cannot wait to hear the story behind this image here.
Yeah, I think it's my second or third trip to Japan, and to my shock, when I arrived, I looked at the schedule, and I was partnered with Taguchi and Tanahashi, 2 legends in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Tanahashi being somebody that I look up to in such a way. When I got there, he came up to me and said, "Do you have masks?" And I was confused. And he goes, "I want to be your boy." And I was like, "What?" And I tried so hard to talk him out of it because I felt like, you don't have to do this. I thought it would be embarrassing for him, but instead it was just such an honor to have these guys not only willing to, but to be the catalyst to set up this shot. They came out full gear. Tanahashi, who wears pants, and Taguchi also wears long pants when they wrestle, went knee padless to really commit to the character. And one of my favorite nights in pro wrestling. It was eye-opening, it was humbling, and it was just like I was riding a high the entire weekend. It was amazing.
Touring Japan's quite a unique opportunity and a unique experience. What was it about Japan as a country, and also wrestling in Japan in terms of like the culture there, the culture of pro wrestling? What was it that most appealed to you while you were out there from your experiences?
I had never felt more like a star than when I arrived in Japan. It's wild, like the level of respect that the fans show you, and like you get off the bus to the hotel and they're lined up waiting for you. I mean, that happens sometimes here in America too, but they're polite. They're like starstruck when you walk by. They're so like quiet and nervous to be around you, and they just want your autograph on these little white square boards that they have. Then when you wrestle, like they are so focused and locked into every move and everything you're doing. And I feel like I try to put little details into my work, and it's nice to know that that's being observed by the audience. Now it's a little weird because like most of the time they're quiet until like some action happens, but then it's like this wave of energy. It's like down, and then it's up, and then they're real quiet, and then they're up, and it's a different world. The country itself is light years ahead of what we're doing here in America. Like it's clean, it's organized, everybody like follows the rules. It's wild. Everybody goes up on the right side of the escalator, and if they're standing, if they're not going to walk up the escalator, they stand to the right, so they leave a gap on the left so people can walk by. They're quiet on the subway. It's pretty wild. What's going on over there?
It is weird. So football tournaments at the World Cup, where our fans are busy, throwing patio furniture around the town wherever the match is being played and leaving it like a wreck. Japanese fans are famous for clearing up the stadium after themselves, so
Picking
they'll go
up
around
the furniture that you threw.
Yeah, it's like a yin and yang thing. I think that's how it works. I think that's what's supposed to happen. But yeah, I mean, so in terms of your wrestling style in Japan, then you can afford to be a bit more patient. You can afford to sort of like you say, put more detail in your move. And does that allow you more opportunity to experiment when you were touring out there? And did that in turn make you a better wrestler when you came back?
Yeah, I imagine it definitely helped build what I'm doing. But I don't think I really got the full experience that most people get I went I think I got four or five trips over there, but I never got a long stay. It was always like three days at a time. So they were short and brief. So I didn't get I don't think I really got a fair shot to adjust what I'm doing to the audience. Like I didn't get to grow with each night. Like if you're there for 2 weeks at a time, you can, by the end of it, you're probably changing everything you do. I'm out there, you're getting the Dalton show when I'm there.
No negotiation on that.
No negotiation. Although I will co-star with Tanahashi and Taguchi anytime.
Did anyone else masquerade as the boys while you were out there, or was this the only time?
But there were some young boys that are now stars. I don't want to say their names. You can go through and flip through some old footage, and you'll find some familiar faces. At least from here down. Up here, it'll be covered with the mask. They're not the only people who dressed as boys, though. Like a litany of boys along the way. Had War Machine, the Viking Raiders.
Really?
Yeah, I had Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly once. We teamed together. Cody Rhodes dressed as a boy once.
What? Is that known? Or is that known? Or is that?
It's on Honor Club. You can go back and watch it.
That's really cool. My only boys story is when I nearly got them lost in Edinburgh. So.
Wait, how is that your fault?
I left them at a cash machine or an ATM, and I trusted them to know their left from their right when finding the train station platform on their way back.
Silly move.
And I was chastised for leaving them 200 yards that way. They'll never make it. We move on now to your favorite wrestling photograph of all time. This can be from any period of wrestling, any federation, anything, anywhere, everywhere, all of the time. And you have chosen this shot here.
Oh, yeah, not particularly like a great shot. I mean, if we're just looking at the composition of it all, the subjects themselves are what make me excited. So this is Brody Lee standing across the ring from Colin Delaney in the WWE ring. And Colin Delaney is, first off, one of the most inspiring people in my career. And I think a lot of guys who came up in the Rochester, New York wrestling scene, because he was the first. I mean, out of our crew, he was the first guy to get hired and wrestle on TV. And it was seeing somebody in our crew do that made it known that it's possible. And it gave us each hope that, like, okay, this isn't a dead end hobby. This can actually lead to something. And then later, we like to see our friend John Brody Lee, who we all knew was bigger and better than all of us, to finally get noticed on a national level and global actually, and become a big star. And then to see the two of these guys share a ring together, it was a really cool moment for me to witness. It's awesome. And I mean, it's sad to say we don't have John anymore, and I am still really close with Colin. So I love this photo. I love that this moment happened.
So talk to me a little bit more about Colin. What does Colin mean to that scene from your hometown?
Colin was one of my best friends growing up, and he was one of the people that was willing to allow me to tag along with them. I got to go on so many I involved in wrestling before I was even supposed to be a pro wrestler. I was just a friend of these wrestlers, and Colin was one of those guys, along with his teammate Jimmy Olsen, and then Brody Lee, Cheech and Cloudy. Those are kind of the core guys who would let me get in a car and travel to Philadelphia and go see Chikara shows with them. And watching them struggle and work hard, and watching them progress along the way meant that, like, there's a payoff. And now he's really given back to the community, to the group of wrestling in Rochester. He trains out here. They've got a school. I believe it's called Ground Zero. They put on shows, and they're doing what they can to help the younger generation get into this.
Seeing that things are possible makes this journey seem something that's within grasp, and it gives you the extra motivation to sort of strive on and achieve those things.
He also, like, while he was working, he still lived in Rochester, and he would come back and he would talk with everybody and tell us everything. So we had like an inside look of how the industry was working once you get hired by this guy who didn't change. He got the job and he came back and he shared it with everybody, and the knowledge and how to behave and what happens.
With your experiences in wrestling, with the various things that you've done, the various places that you've wrestled, the various tours you've gone on, the various championships that you've accomplished, or probably since this photo's been taken as well, do you ever get the opportunity yourself to sort of take stock and to sort of look back and to sort of bathe in your accomplishments, I suppose, and sort of appreciate the journey that you've been on?
I do. I mean, internally, I think about it all the time. I've got a great, I've got this unbelievable amount of gratitude for what pro wrestling and wrestling, amateur wrestling, has provided for me along the years. And it wasn't until maybe the last 3 years I've kind of realized it. Before, it's always like, this is the grind. I'm working hard to get to where I need to be. And then one day, I think I was like sitting on my patio when I was living, sitting on my patio just in the summertime on a weekday, and I just thought, oh, I'm already doing it. This is what I have been working for, and I'm here. And then it starts. You just start really appreciating and liking the job more, and understanding what it really is. Like the showing up to work, the getting flown to these fun cities, and getting to perform in front of thousands of people each week. That was the goal, and I'm doing it. So don't stress out about it anymore. Sit back and enjoy it. And once you start relaxing and enjoying it, subsequently, the work gets better too. It's weird.
I only wanted to touch on it because I think it's the same for a lot of creative industries. And like, I still have a check downstairs from my photography career from 20 years ago. The first time anyone wrote me a check for a photograph for $20, essentially, 20 pounds. And I never cashed it. So I just wanted to keep it because I was like, wow, someone actually thought enough of my photograph to sort of buy a couple. And I think then, like you say, whenever you look back on that, you're like, wow, all I ever wanted was, I remember when I started taking wrestling photographs, all I ever wanted was an image on a poster, because I just thought all of the posters for the local federations were so poor. And I just thought I could improve it. So I set the bar quite low. But I just wanted I wanted a photograph on a poster. I remember when I drove out of Chicago and saw that big all-in poster with like,
you had your images on there,
all of my posters on a big billboard, kind of thing. You're just like, oh,
what
okay.
What a surreal moment.
It's just bizarre. I was just in a taxi, just like driving out. Like, it's bizarre to even like, when you start on a creative journey in a thing where you want to get paid for it, right? You can't make the leap to driving in another country, having just worked a job, to see your image on a billboard before you jump on a plane to go home. Right, you can't make that jump because all you crave is someone to buy your work.
Right.
So it's just really important.
That was never even like the goal. Yeah, you never thought that was possible to be that level.
No,
I
never.
feel like that constantly when I'm at work, and I love that happens, and I love that you recognize that too.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people don't. They
I guess. Yeah, I guess. And I think that's it. I think to bring it back down, I think it's because I've worked in a school all day today around like very young children. So I just think like, oh, maybe I'm just like kind of like, oh guys, you have no idea of the fun journey you're about to go on to, and you can achieve anything you want as well. That's the fun part, which is really cool.
You know what? I do slip a lot though. Like, I feel like every 3 days I forget how good I got it. And like, I start letting it get to me. Just last night, or something about wrestling, something I filmed with for Ring of Honor didn't get used, and it was bumming me out. And I was like, why even put all this effort in? If they're not going to use it, what the hell am I even doing? My wife just said, you could be at a desk all day. And I was like, oh
yeah. And you only have to be at a desk all day for one job once to realize that, that If you're not built for that as well, which is kind of like, that's the hardest thing, I think. Anyway, moving on to your last photograph, which is your favorite photograph from anywhere. And as with most people who've done this, they resort brilliantly to family. And this is the shot here. Talk to me through this one.
Well, it's an older photo. It's from 2015, I think. And like we were just discussing, my wife putting me in my place and reminding me how good my life is. She has been one of the most constant and supportive and greatest people in my career. She and I started seeing each other shortly before I started training to be a pro wrestler. And along the whole way, she's seen the entire path from wrestling in front of like 8 people to doing sold out shows at Madison Square Garden. And anytime it got hard for me, she would remind me where I've come from. And she even, when we first started dating, tried to, she was a massage therapist, and she traded this woman massage sessions for sewing lessons so she could secretly learn how to sew trunks for me, so I would have fresh gear as often as I needed it. And I was making no money at the time, and she just knew that it was something I was passionate about, and she wanted to help me, and she did that for me and has never complained and has worked her ass off to make sure that I'm working towards what my goal is. And this picture was taken in New Zealand in 2015, shortly after I got signed to Ring of Honor. I got invited to go do a single show for New Japan, was doing some offshoot tour, and I got flown to New Zealand, and I was afforded the opportunity to fly her along with me, and we stayed a couple extra days and went hiking along with our friend Jay White, who's from New Zealand. And this was my favorite picture because this was the first real big trip that I was able to give her from wrestling. Wrestling bought this vacation for us, and since then we've got to go so many cool places because of my career that she has helped me and supported me along the way. And this picture was taken by Jay White.
Yay, we got a credit.
I know one photographer.
Pro wrestlers looking after themselves, always crediting each other. Never change, boys.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Where in New Zealand is this?
I think this is near, this might be Black Sand Beaches. I don't remember the name. Maybe it's Lion Rock.
Okay.
We went all over that day, and I don't exactly remember where exactly this spot was located.
Because you had Jay White local knowledge, right?
Yeah. He picked us up and drove us out. It was a great day. We went and saw a waterfall. We went to Black Sand Beach, and that's all I remember.
New Zealand is such a bucket list place, but I'm so glad that you got to celebrate something like that on the trip. It reminds me of, well, the only reason why I laughed so much when you started telling the story was just because, like, firstly, never let her go. Because that is, honestly, that is a fantastic over. It's only because I've just written a photography talk on how great photographers just stand on the shoulders of giants, because people who really achieve stuff in photography only do it with the help of people around them. The people who lift them up, because essentially we just push buttons and just have ideas, but it's all not just the support network of the people that we photograph and that we work with, but the support network of families and friends and people who pick you up when you're down, and people who tell you that to keep going. And I think that's just such a perfect story to tie in with that, and it's so relatable. The fact that we're only a portion of everything we've ever loved, so we literally are the sum of all of the parts that love us the most, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a funny thing with people, like, you get successful and it's like, well, how did you do it? And you're like, wow, look behind me, look at all these people that helped me along the way. Photographers and just in general, like, I feel terrible about not knowing somebody's name who took a picture of me, because my God, without great photographers, there's no images of our work to share. And like, you guys work so hard to take these awesome shots of these people doing these things in these shows that nobody even sees, but they will see it because you took an awesome picture of it.
Yeah, I think that's the payoff, and I can't speak for everyone. I certainly enjoy it. I get the most thrill out of sort of shooting backstage, shooting portraits, and shooting ringside for sure. But it also reminded me the fact that you got to celebrate the big signing with the big trip. I remember celebrating my first trip abroad to work with Ring of Honor in New York, and they flew me out a day early.
Did I send you? I think I sent you pictures from that trip, maybe, or maybe that's
this one.
Yeah. That's either from New York or that's from
That's from Bolton.
Ah, of course. You took that.
Thank you. I don't like showcasing my own work. That's why I stayed away from those. But I remember celebrating my first trip to America with Ring of Honor by flying out a day early so I could see the premiere of Star Wars in Times Square. The premiere of like the new Star Wars movie that's coming out, Last Jedi or whatever. I remember walking through Times Square thinking, fuck me. Imagine telling 7-year-old me, who just got a Darth Vader costume at Christmas as his main Christmas present because he was so obsessed with Star Wars, that kid, in about 30 years time you're going to be in New York and they're going to make a bunch more of these and you're going to be at the premiere of one of the new ones. And it was just like, it was a complete like look back moment of,
and photography brought you there too.
Right, and when you get out there, you all you got to do is take some photos. You know, and it's kind of fun, which is really, really cool. Dalton, it is a rough life. Dalton, thank you so much for sharing your images with us. It's been a joy to take a little trip down through memory lane and have a look at the things that really, really matter to you. Where can people find you online? Do some shilling now. This is the thing. Go ahead.
I got a website, theplanetpeacock.com. I post a lot of, sometimes I'll post some artwork up there that you can buy. And I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/the Dalton Castle. Here's a tiger I painted the other day.
That's amazing.
Meow. Thank you.
I love it.
And back to my wife, though. I showed you I kind of lied. I mean, this is my real favorite photo of her of all time. I got a picture of her eating a Philly cheesesteak in Philadelphia, and she looks really rad. So I had it blown up, and I hang this on my wall.
I bet she loves it. I like the film tie-in with the Dalton Castle logo in the background as well. I love the Jurassic Park one.
Oh yeah, right there. Yeah,
over there. Yeah. That's really cool. That's smart. Is that a T-shirt available at Pro Wrestling Diesel Summit? Is it your first one?
Well, no, my second. I think I made that one when I used to work in radio, and I would do nothing. Like, they didn't want me talking on the air, so I would just sit there and play on Photoshop all day. And I made that, and I have been selling that design for 12, 13 years, for a long time.
Okay, it's a great design. Park that. You worked in radio, and they didn't put you on the air.
Yeah, in fact, the best part about that, this is a quickie. The day, so I went in on a Friday, and I told them, hey, I've got these 2 contracts offers on the table. I got a TNA and a Ring of Honor opportunity. And I met with my boss at the radio, and I said, I'm going to take one of these jobs, but it's going to require me to be gone maybe 1 or 2 Thursdays a month. And I just want to make sure I can keep my radio job. And they go, oh, you should take that job. You want to be a wrestler, right? I was like, yeah, I do, but I also want to be on the radio still. And they go, it's fine. Take the job. You'll be fine. And I go, okay, sounds like I can work here. I signed my contract on a Sunday, got fired on a Monday. It was amazing.
I could not get rid of you quick enough.
And then 6 months later, they asked me to come back in for an interview because Rolling Stones was writing articles about me.
Wow, there you go. That reminds me of the story of Damien Priest when he returned to the Hammerstein Ballroom, where he'd been pulling pints the year before. He'd been working there as a barman.
Oh, I did not know that about him.
Yeah, he worked there as a barman. Then when they did that final battle show at Hammerstein, he was saying hello to all the bar staff and all the security guys because he knew them all.
Whoa, that's amazing! What a cool full circle.
Yeah, and it was like you know, he was quite high up on the card. It wasn't like he was turning up as ring crew. He was turning up full Damien Priest sort of copping gimmick. So yeah, really, really cool. Dalton, it's been an absolute joy. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Take care, mate.
Thank you for all your hard work over the years and your friendship. This has been great.
Wonderful. All the best, mate.